Let's look at an example of actually reading a frequency polygon. So we have deaths by legal intervention refers to injuries inflicted by law enforcement agents in the course of arresting or attempting to arrest lawbreakers, suppressing disturbances, maintaining order, and other legal action including legal execution. In 2006, 174 such deaths occurred in 16 states in the United States. The following frequency polygon represents these deaths by age. So let's first point out some important information here. So we have 174 such deaths. Right, so that's some important information here. So remember that we have some connector points here. So remember, and we know that these are connector points here because they're starting at 0. So we have these two as connector points. So our first question asks, what is the class width and how many classes are represented in the graph? So I can see here that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points on the graph. So I have 9 classes represented. To find the class width, I can also use midpoints. So I'm going to look at the first 2 classes. If I find the difference of those 2 midpoints, I can find the class width. So 15 minus 5, and I get 10. So I can pick any 2 consecutive. So I could have picked 45 and 35 or 75 and 65. Any 2 consecutive classes will allow you to get that class width. Looking at our next example, it asks what's the midpoint of the first class and then the lower and upper limits of the first class. So remember, this midpoint represents our first class. So our midpoint of the first class is 5, and the lower limit here is going to be 0. So we have a class width of 10. So my upper limit here is going to be, so I'm going to have a difference of 10 there. So if I add 10, I'm going to get 10. So drop 1 below is 9. So that's going to be the upper and lower class limits there for the first class. So moving on. So now we know the midpoint of the last class and then its upper and lower class limits. So here's my last class here. So that is my midpoint, and my lower limit is going to be 80, and my upper limit will be 89. So moving on. So we know which age group had 35 deaths due to legal intervention. So what I'm going to do is we find the number of deaths of 35 here, and we're going to follow that over on our graph here. So I see where that hits, and then I'm going to follow that down. So we have a midpoint here of 45. So that means we're looking at the 40 to 49-year-olds. So let's fix this. So our next example asks which two age groups have the highest number of deaths due to legal intervention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the highest spot on the graph. So that's here. I'll map this over, and I'm going to follow down here. Oops. And follow down a little bit better here. And I'll follow down here. Alright, and so we're looking at the midpoints here. Oops. Midpoints are 25 and 35. So we're looking at the 20 to 29-year-olds. And the 30 to 39-year-olds. And then we want to estimate the number of deaths of these. So if we follow this over, we notice it's slightly above the 45 line, so we're going to say about 46. So let's circle our answers here. Alright. So last question here asks for the relative frequency for the class 20 to 29. So we just found out that that was 46, so that's our frequency. So remember, it's frequency divided by the sum of all the frequencies. Well, we have 174 such deaths, so that's going to be all the frequencies. So I'm going to divide by 174. So when I do that, I'm going to get approximately, so I'm rounding this here, 0.2644. So that is going to be my relative frequency for the class 20 to 29.